The phone was insistent, the caller persistent. It had been like this every night for weeks. But the dead don't call, not unless you're crazy. And he was far from that. He was a man with a routine. Sleepless nights were spent reading, writing, or watching movies. This night started out like all the others. The clock ticked past midnight, then 1 a.m. Still no sleep. The insistent buzzing of his phone startled him. Caller ID showed an unknown number. Was it another telemarketer? He thought about letting it go to voicemail. But something kept him on the line. His sister's face filled his mind. He could almost hear her voice, asking him to pick up the phone. God, he hated these thoughts. It had been 5 years since she died. 5 years of restless nights, haunting phone calls and unanswered questions. He picked up the phone. Hello? His voice sounded distant, like he was hearing it through a dream. Who's there? Silence. Then a match struck, and the rasp of a voice. Hello, is anyone there? She sounded so alive. Her voice was like nails on a chalkboard, grating and awful. Then she whispered, "Help me," and the line went dead. He stared at the phone as if it would reveal its secrets. Caller ID showed the number, the same one that had been plaguing him for weeks. What did it mean? Was it a prank? Who was behind it? And why? Now, after all this time, he tried calling back, but the call went straight to voicemail. Shaking his head, he put the phone down, trying to dismiss the events of the last few minutes as a figment of his imagination. Maybe he had been sleep-deprived, overworked. Yeah, that had to be it. But as the night wore on, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. The movie playing on the screen didn't register in his mind. He stared blankly at the images, unable to focus on anything. Thoughts of his sister filled his mind. He remembered the day she died. It was a freak accident, a hit and run. 1 minute she was walking home from a friend's house, the next she was lying on a hospital bed, brain dead. He had made the decision to take her off life support. He remembered the hollow thud of the body bag, the way the gravedigger had mumbled condolences. He had visited her grave every year on the anniversary of her death, bringing flowers and retelling her all the gossip of the last year. He had never received any calls. Not until tonight. Was this real or a cruel joke? He looked at the phone again. Should he call the number back? Curiosity gnawed at him. He wanted to know who was on the other end of the line, what they wanted. But then the phone rang. He jumped, knocking over his glass of water. Who was calling him now? He picked up the phone. "Hello," he said, his voice shaking. There was a pause. Then a raspy voice whispered, "You never came to say goodbye." He stumbled back, knocking over his chair. He could feel his heart pounding in his chest. He wanted to scream, to make the pain go away, but all that came out was a whimper. "I'm sorry," he whispered, tears streaming down his face. "I didn't know. You never came to say goodbye." The voice was right. He hadn't said goodbye. He had been angry, hurt. He blamed her for leaving him. But that was unfair. She hadn't chosen to die. He wanted to tell her that he missed her, that he loved her, but the words wouldn't come. All he could manage was a choked sob. The line went dead. He stared at the phone, tears drying on his face. What was he going to do? He felt a sudden urge to get out of the house, to find his sister's grave and apologize. But when he stepped outside, he realized it wasn't that simple. The cemetery was closed, the wrought iron gates locked for the night. All he could do now was wait until morning. So he turned around and went back inside, pulled up his blankets and tried to sleep. But as the first rays of sunlight hit his window, the phone rang. Startled, he reached for it. The caller ID showed the same number. What did it mean? Why was his sister calling him after all this time? He picked up the phone. "Hello?" he whispered, his voice thick with sleep. There was a long pause. Then his sister's voice, weak and tired, whispered, "You never came to say goodbye."